Hi everyone, welcome to this month's Resource of the Month video. Based on your responses from last month's survey that I sent out, most of you wanted to learn a little bit more about the financial aid process at American Sentinel and how it works. So today we're just going to go over a little bit about that. I'm going to show you a little bit more about what financial aid looks like and how to register, and a little bit more in depth about what your financial aid tracks will be and how that affects your time here at American Sentinel. If you have any questions about this, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. So first of all, what is financial aid at American Sentinel? So essentially what you need to know about financial aid for yourself is that financial aid students at American Sentinel are placed into financial aid tracks upon enrollment. These tracks determine the months that you can sign up for courses during the course of the school year. Financial aid students at American Sentinel are placed into financial aid tracks upon enrollment. These tracks determine the months that you can sign up for courses during the course of the school year. When will you receive your aid? Usually students receive their aid in the first 6 to 7 weeks of their semester. The aid will come back to our financial aid office after the first 3 to 4 weeks, and then our student accounts office has 14 days to send it to you after that. A lot of you have asked questions about your financial aid track and what that actually means for your program. And so I just want to go over a little bit about what a financial aid track is and what the differences are in financial aid tracks. So your financial aid track is the semesters and terms that you can register for courses. It's determined based on the month that you begin your first course. And a lot of students ask if they can change their financial aid track. Actually, you can only change your financial aid track if you are a new student and have not participated in a discussion question or submitted an assignment in your first course yet. So there are 4 financial aid tracks at American Sentinel. If you're a financial aid student, you are either a track A, a track B, a track C, or a track D student. And I'm just going to go through each one of these tracks really quickly and explain to you what your track means for your registration processes and time here at American Sentinel. Track A financial aid students. If you started your first class in January, May, or September, then you are a track A financial aid student. You may register for January, February, and March terms in your January semester, and you cannot register for the April term. The second semester that you have is your May semester. You can register for May, June, and July terms in your May semester. You cannot register for the August term. Finally, you have the September semester. You may register for September, October, and November terms in your September semester. You cannot register for the December term. The second financial aid track is track B. If you started your first class in February, June, or October, then you are a track B financial aid student. The first semester that you have is your February semester. You may register for the February, March, and April terms within your February semester. You cannot register for the May term. The second semester that you have is your June semester. You may register for the June, July, and August terms in your June semester. You cannot register for the September term. The final semester is your October semester. You may register for the October, November, and December terms in your October semester. You cannot register for the January term. The third track is track C. If you started your first course at American Sentinel in March, July, or November, then you are a track C financial aid student. The first semester that you have is your March semester. You may register for the March, April, and May terms in your March semester. You cannot register for the June term. The second semester that you have is your July semester. You may register for the July, August, and September terms in your July semester. You cannot register for the October term. The final semester that you have is your November semester. You may register for the November, December, and January terms in your November semester. You cannot register for the February term. Finally, we have the Track D financial aid students. If you started your first course in April, August, or December, then you are a Track D financial aid student. The first semester you have is the April semester. You can register for the April, May, and June terms in your April semester. You cannot register for the July term. The second semester is your August semester. You may register for the August, September, and October terms in your August semester. You cannot register for the November term. And finally, we have your December semester. You may register for the December, January, and February terms in your December semester. You cannot register for the March term. So another question a lot of students ask is about course registration for their semesters. They want to know what the minimum number of courses that they need to register for is per semester. To answer your question, how many courses do I need to register for to be eligible for aid? Undergraduate students must take 6 credit hours or 2 courses per semester to be eligible for aid. If you're a graduate student, you must take 3 credit hours or 1 course per semester to be eligible for aid. So what happens if you miss the registration deadline for your semester, but you still want to take a course? What do? The first step that you want to do is email financial aid at financial.aid@americansentinel.edu. In the email, you'll want to say 3 things. The first is to say how many credit hours you would like to register for the entire semester. Remember that 3 credit hours equals 1 course. The second thing you'll want to do is say the semester that you would like the credit hours for. And then finally, you'll need to say that you would like for financial aid to cover the cost for hours. Another question students have about financial aid is participation in their courses. If you do not post to the Week 1 discussion forum by the second Monday of your first course, you will be administratively withdrawn from your class. Introduction posts do not count as active participation in your course. Your first post must be a response to a discussion question. Once you post your first discussion post, you cannot change your financial aid track. You will remain on your financial aid track for the remainder of your program. And finally, what if you want to drop a class if you use financial aid? Financial aid students may drop courses. However, you may end up owing money back if you do. Before you drop a course, please shoot me an email and just consult with me before you do, and we'll talk about the best options for you. What if you want to move a course from one semester to another semester? Unfortunately, financial aid students cannot move their courses from one semester to another semester. However, financial aid students can move their courses from one term to another within the same semester. Thank you folks so much for watching. If you do have any questions about this, again, please feel free to let me know. If you folks could, at the end of this email, please just fill out the survey that I've sent so that I can gauge what you folks are looking to learn more about here at the university. I can certainly pick resources myself, but I always prefer to have my students do it just so that I know exactly what it is you would like to learn more about. So you can just fill that survey out at the end, and if you don't have the time or you don't want to, not a problem at all. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking and working with all of you in the future.